right, thank you very much. I've done a lot of public speaking, but I've never spoke to business owners. So I really drilled through this PowerPoint, how can I make this so that it's valuable for you guys? Given that I was in business maybe a week and a half and Michael asked me to speak to business owners, thank you. That's pretty cool. But even cooler to speak to business owners. But getting the 11 o'clock slot right before lunch, that sucks.
Hey, someone had to take it.
Yeah, going after the guy that just talked about a bunch of numbers, that sucks. But we'll try to get through this. I do have 70 slides. I am going to give you the slide deck. So if I talk fast at times or go through it too quickly, you'll have the slide deck to go back through. So how to use pay-per-click to add value in your agency. I want to talk about how to solve your clients' problems with AdWords. We're going to talk about how to sell it, how to price engagements, how to conduct a PPC audit, how to deliver ROI and results, and how to maintain and grow your PPC retainers, all in 70 slides. Let's go. Ideas are crap, execution is the game. So what am I able to accomplish with what I've done? This is an online school. I cut their impressions by 62%. I cut their clicks by 12%, but I increased their click-through rate by 5%. I cut their cost by 24%. I cut their cost per click by 13%. Brought them to a higher position. So I got that higher position with less money. 576 conversions, 1 month. It's 1 month of data. And those are phone calls and form fills. 1627 per conversion, down 27% for a 16% conversion rate. E-commerce leads, cut their impressions in half. What I often find when I get inside is everybody is all about driving that traffic. Get as many clicks as I possibly can. Let my ad show as much as I possibly can. And that's not what it's all about. It's all about these bottom numbers. How much can I convert? Bottom line, I increased their conversion rate. I cut their cost, or actually I increased their cost on this one, but I got more people to click on their ad from 2.44 to 6%. Just so you know that the country average is about 3%, so I'm double the average. The average conversion rate on PPC is somewhere around 5%. That's just across the board. First thing I hear from someone is they're like, I want to do PPC. And I'm like, why? Why do you want to do it? It's because they heard about it and they start thinking about this as a service line. And it's not a service line. It is an answer to problems. It is a solution to what your clients are experiencing. It's not an additional service line. And I think before you can sell a solution, you have to ask the right questions. So I've given you links in here to my business profile. What are the things that I want to understand? What are the questions that I would ask before I get into a PPC engagement? I need to understand all that because I need to understand where they've been. I need to see what problems they have. What's their psychology already? What have they been told wrong or been taught wrong? And then how can I come in and be the hero? So I do a website analytics audit for PPC. Why? Because I can't put lipstick on a pig. I cannot drive traffic to a website that sucks. I will walk away if they won't redo their website. I also do an analytics audit because I need the numbers to prove that what I'm doing is good. So I'm going to audit their analytics, make sure that it's set up all right. I'm going to make sure that they have conversions set up and that I can track every single measure. If I don't have that, I'm not going to do the job. I also want to look for, do they have unique selling propositions? If they're not telling me the why as to why I would want to do business with them versus their competitor, it doesn't matter. You have to have those things. You have to say why I would like to do business with you. Again, conversion goals set up. If you're not going to track phone calls, we probably shouldn't talk either because phone calls is a big deal. And I need to know, I can tell all the way down to the keyword that this keyword is producing those phone calls. But if you don't allow me to do that, then I can't do my job. So I want to understand with that analytics, where are people losing on their digital journey to becoming a purchase and a client? A lot of people think of PPC and they think bottom of the funnel, ready to purchase. That's where I'm driving them at. They're looking for search. They're searching exactly for what do I have to offer. And there's so much more to that. This is where we start to understand all the solutions that are available with AdWords. So what are the different types? We're just going to talk about AdWords. So well, kind of. So search, you guys all know that. Mobile. Local map section. Display remarketing is underneath the AdWords products. Video and YouTube is underneath the AdWords products. Pragmatic buying is underneath the AdWords products. And shopping. And then I'm actually going to throw social in there too. I think social paid ads belongs with the person that's running your PPC. It's very mathematical. It's driven by lots of numbers, so I think they should be doing that too. I think your social or organic person should be somebody different. So for the sake of today's presentation, though, I'm not going to talk about social ads because that's a whole nother animal, but I do think it's in that channel. So when we talk about AdWords, you can set up AdWords for different parts of the buying cycle. It's totally plausible. So let's talk about search, bottom of the funnel, one you guys already think about. I need traffic, think search. But think about keyword intention. Think about different words put together and what they're really looking for. How can I build out campaigns and give them exactly what they're looking for within those different bottom, middle, and top of the funnel? You're doing SEO, but they're not patient enough. Think search. I can get that going pretty quickly, get some traffic coming in, the right kind of traffic. Think about if you want to do research for an SEO plan. I can not only choose keywords, but I can look in the search term report and I can get a longer idea of what they're really looking for and see what the real impressions are. Because most of the time that keyword planner tool, I think, is crap. It's not giving accurate information. You have no website traffic at all, obviously search is the way to go. So let's talk about the display network. There are millions of websites in the display network, millions. You can target by a customer affinity audience. So certain characteristics of how people search, they tend to be in certain audiences. You can customize it. You can say, well, my people typically search for golf shirts, and my people typically want to go to a golf course. Those are who my audiences are, and I can build an affinity audience. In market, my people, based on their search behavior, are already looking for what I have to offer. Keywords, I can choose specific keywords within a page of a website and say, well, if that keyword is in there, I do tattoo removal, I want to show my ad for tattoo removal. Audiences on YouTube channels. So you got to think about the YouTube channel of what it is and what they're showing. I sell makeup, and somebody's doing a how-to on makeup. Perfect for L'Oreal. Remarketing, if you are remarketing or using the same message regardless of the audience, you're doing it wrong. All about segmenting that audience. So let's talk about that email list that you worked really hard to build up. That's the bottom of the funnel. You can upload that target list just like you can in Facebook ads directly into AdWords, and you can target to those people based on how they search. And hey, guess what? They're a little bit more value, so I want to bid a little bit higher. I want to make sure that I'm there. You can do that same list in display, do that same list when your people are out shopping. You can do that same list in video as well. So also, let's talk about those audience segmentation. I want to treat different audiences differently. It's really important to have your Google Analytics tied to your AdWords. You can do remarketing inside of just the AdWords platform, but when you can take your audience that's inside of analytics and start to segment it, if I can segment my organic channel versus my social paid versus my social and organic, they got to me in different ways. I need to treat them differently. They've watched my videos. So they came to my website somehow, they didn't convert, and they watched my videos. What's the next thing I want to send them? Do I want to market to them for the keywords they're using, or do I want to market to them because they're on this particular website? Think about people that are multi-session, but not converters. Those are flirts. How do I get those people, through the cycle? Think about people that's already converted, people that already love your product. You have a new product you're getting ready to launch or a new service line. Imagine targeting just those people. Mobile traffic, treat it a little bit different than desktop. Think about people who bounced. Why did they bounce? How can I bring them back? What can I say differently? Think about geography. What about those people that are within the city that you already exist? Those people know who you are. Well, what about if you could look at people in other states or particular states? How do people in Texas think differently than people in Indiana? How could I use a different message in order to engage those people? Think about by service line. So I'm a tattoo removal shop, but I also do microblading. Two different audiences. So how I remarket maybe to that audience versus this audience is going to be different and a different message. Who bought, same thing, bought one service but not the other. Page views, time on site. Think about people that's logged into your site or not logged into your site. I mean, the possibilities are endless, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is really cool. So this just came out in about maybe the last 18 months. You can target to your current website visitors when they are searching. So if they've been, think about how much more valuable it is if somebody has been to my website before and then they go out and search, and I can pick the keywords that they search and I can make sure I come up. Who's more likely to convert, the person that's been there the first time or the second or third time? RLSA is really powerful, and you can cut your cost per conversion in half. How about this scenario? You're sending them a Facebook ad with link clicks. You then create a segment of people that have gotten to your website from that ad but didn't convert. What do you show them next? You could remarket them with a display ad with graphics to lead them to the next piece of content. So not only are you remarketing on Facebook, you're remarketing out on the display network by placement, by keyword, by audience, by all of that different segmentation. You could remarket to them and offer them a discount. So you're kind of catching them on both places. You can ensure when they search for certain terms, they saw your ad on Facebook, they clicked on that ad, and then when they search for your product or service, yeah, I want to bid about 50% higher for that guy because he's already seen my brand. He's already familiar with me. So YouTube, where is that at? You can see it up here at the top and then over here on the side. So these are your display, but this one is actually a video. So you can do a display type ad by the keyword, or you can do like a video. So that's called an in-display ad, and that's called an in-stream ad, where I make somebody watch at least 5 seconds of my ad before I'm even charged. What can you say in 5 seconds to keep them to keep watching? Think about branding. So you need to increase the awareness of existing product. Think display. You want to boost a blog post. Think about a really interesting blog post that you have right now, and you can place it on Search Engine Journal with a nice graphic and get them to your website. How powerful would that be? You're introducing a new product or service that people don't search for. I've taken on clients before where I show them that the search volume is not there. People are not searching for your product. It's a brand new product. Think display. You've got to build the awareness of that product. Think about a video introducing your product. It's a brand new product. Pragmatic. I have just gotten into this. I just got a budget of $5,000, so I'm very excited for this. Pragmatic is kind of like the stock market. That's why I'm really excited about it. You have users who visit a web page. Impressions are announced. Impression opportunity is evaluated, and the bid decision is made. You win the auction, and your ad is served. So you put in all kinds of crap of, I want this, 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 and this, and I'm willing to pay this. If it comes at this time, I want it in the auction. It's really fun. So shoppers, the shopping ads, you sell products. You actually need to do search, and you need to do shopping ads. Shopping ads are a whole nother animal. It actually works a lot like SEO. You don't pick keywords. You upload a product sheet of what your product is, and Google decides based on the search whether or not your ad shows or not. So there's a lot more mystery to it. You really need like a content person involved in that. A lot of work depending on how many products you have. You need to promote an app or podcast. So there's lots of ways to promote, download the free app. You can do it when people search for your podcast. You could do it out on the display network based on their behavior or where they might likely be hanging out. You can do it within apps. They're already playing with apps, and how do I get them to download my app? YouTube channels, videos, think of all of them. Locally, so within the last 18 months, we lost the 10-pack and we're down to 3. That top ad that is in there, that is done within AdWords. So think solution, don't think service line that I want to add. How can I solve the problems that my clients are having with the AdWords products that are available? So how to price engagements. This one's always fun because this is usually what happens when you get PPC pros and start talking about how do I price myself. So you can charge billable hours. Problem with that is you're more than likely to spend a ton of hours up front, and then as the campaign matures, you're not going to spend as much time, but your client's going to see a ton more money coming in, and you're seeing a ton less money coming in. So that's hard to work with. The business is incentivized to get the most from the fewest hours. I have a corporate brain versus I'm incentivized to work as many possible hours as possible so that I can make more money. Complete mismatch. You can charge a percentage of spend. So the industry average is 10 to 20%. If you're a freelancer, it might be somewhere between 10 and 15%. The problem with that is it punishes the client for increase in spend. The client ultimately determines the budget. So if they go low, you can always walk away from it, but if they're determining the budget, that's really going to determine how much money you're making. Consider the industry that you're targeting. If you're in a niche industry, it's going to be a lot easier versus you tell me that I need to do a lawyer that is going after car accidents. That's going to be tough. And if I'm going to work a lot harder for that one than I am the niche audience. I just think the goals are kind of misaligned. But if you're one, service or agent or not agency, but if you only focus on one industry, then this probably makes sense. So a performance-based fee, look, I'm as good as the best that you pay me when I perform, but there's just a lot of problems that can come up with this. The positive is there's no future price negotiation later on. You perform, you get paid. But what is a conversion for the client? I'm a big believer in taking conversions such as watching videos or I downloaded a PDF versus I got a phone call or a form fill. Then you start getting into this, well, it was a crap lead, so I'm not going to pay you. And I it just, unless you've just got this hardcore, this is what is the lead prior going into it, it's kind of hard to do that. Attribution is not perfect. I think we all know this. I can get it pretty darn close, but it's not perfect. So you have to take that into consideration. You have to also look at how Google Analytics and how Google AdWords attributes differently. In Google Analytics, it's the very last thing that you do. So if that's where you're looking at, but in Google AdWords, it can be different. You can choose. You can make it linear, like it gets a part of the pie. You can make it so it's the beginning gets all of it, or if it's the last thing gets all of it. You can choose a 90-day window, a 60-day window. There's all kinds of different configurations when you get into that, which makes it kind of confusing when it's coming into analytics. Seasonal trends. So if you take on a business that is very seasonal, you're going to make a lot less money during certain times of the year. Charging a flat maintenance fee appears to be growth focused for you and the agency and the client, or appears not to be. If campaign spend increases, you've got more work, but you're not getting paid for it. Here's some other things to consider when you get into pricing these. I'm very big on considering the industry that they're in. If I'm working with a painter versus I'm working with a B2B type place where they make $1 million off of a lead, yeah, I'm going to charge a little bit differently. Consider the type of client you have. Are they a pain in the butt like we already talked about? Are they going to constantly want to see results? How much of my time is going to be absorbed by that? Do they want me to explain every little thing that I'm doing? That's time, and you can't get that back. Consider how you will report on success and how you currently report. If somebody wants it differently, how much time is involved in that? Who is handling the accounts? Do you have a PPC expert? Do you have someone that's certified? Do you have someone with glowing recommendations, or do you have someone that's kind of brand new at this? Are you paying for tools like SEMrush, WordStream, SpyFu? I don't use a single tool but AdWords. I have SEMrush, but I use it for my SEO. I don't use it for PPC. I only use AdWords platform. Consider the resources you might need for the different type of AdWords. So if you're doing display, you're probably going to need a graphic person, and that's going to eat up some time. If you want to do video, then you're going to have to make a video, or the landing pages you might need. If they have a crap website and you need a specific landing page, you got to think about that development time as well. Do I charge a setup fee? Determines on how much time is involved before they say yes. If I had to spend a whole bunch of time to convince you to do service with me, probably going to charge a setup fee. If I have to audit an existing account, or if it's brand new, then you don't have to audit an account. But if there's an existing account I have to audit, that's a lot more work up front. Coming up with a budget recommendation with keyword research, it's a lot trickier than what you think. Google can flip out and tell me that it costs this much per click, but until I get in there, I really don't have a good idea of how much it costs per click. I got kind of a range, but it's harder to do that. Doing a proper needs assessment takes time. How many campaigns do I have to build? How many different service lines am I going after? That's really going to play into it. Is this a high-risk client? They don't believe, they're kind of iffy about whether or not this is going to work. I probably need to charge a lot more because up front, I'm going to do all the work and then they're going to drop me. Sounds good in theory, but it completely underestimates all the aspects that could be out of your control. This is talking about the only pay me if I perform, and there's a lot of things that are out of your control. Landing pages are sometimes out of your control if you don't have the website access, if you don't have control over changing things. Your quality score, or how much you're paying per click, is dependent on your landing page. If your website speed sucks, that you're going to pay more per click. And so, you know, that can really play in. What's the checkout process? Is it frustrating and you can't control that? Sales funnel, top to bottom. The person taking the lead, you can't control whether or not they can actually close anything. So there's a lot of considerations to what to look at. No model is going to work perfectly for every client. That's just my opinion. But I understand some of you got to scale. All right. How am I doing? Okay? How to conduct a PPC audit. All right. Why conduct an audit? Let's kind of start there. To earn new business, it's really easy for me to take somebody's business by conducting an audit. Maybe you've got people doing PPC right now, bringing a fresh set of eyes just to look at it differently. Even for me, you know, I've been staring at something for a long time. Having somebody else look at it, they might see something different. You got to understand what is important for a client, though. What's their KPIs? What was the goal of the campaign before you get in there and start saying, well, this is wrong and that's wrong? Observe at least 3 months of data if you're going to audit an account, because there might have been recent changes, so try to look for those historical patterns. You might run into hurdles to gaining access with new clients. Also, you know, if they give you a view-only access, you know, the agency that's maybe doing the account right now is going to see that you're in there. So maybe think about a dummy email that you could possibly use to do audits like this. So you can kind of go incognito. Because, you know, of course, as soon as the other agency sees that you're in there, then, you know, they're going to start putting on their best foot forward. So audit the settings. I'm giving you a link here. I've actually done a YouTube video on things that I would do to audit the settings. All right, so defaults. I've always said with AdWords, you need to have a PhD in defaults in order for Google not to spend your money. There's so many, I mean, as soon as you open up an account, you know you're automatically spending money right then if you don't pause it, right? Some people don't know that. So the default is Google wants you to do search network with display select. Google wants you to go into the search and display market all in one. They're totally two different markets. I would never do that like that, but that's the default. So you've got to select the drop down and you've got to go to the particular type of marketing you want to do. The default is to go to Canada and the United States. Well, not everybody wants to go to both of those, and not everybody wants to go to the entire United States, and not everybody should be going to the entire United States because they don't have the budget to support it. I'd rather go in smaller, more targeted, more focused, and then expand out than to go to the entire United States and fail because I don't have enough money to compete. The default is to target people in searching for who show interest in my targeted location. You know, there's a lot of problems with that. There's a difference between someone who is, you know, in your location versus someone who's showing interest in my location. So I'd rather do them separate. I run into that a lot too when people are like, but my ad's not showing. Well, where are you located at? Are you actually in the location that we're targeting to? Well, that's why you can't see your ad. Google likes to say things like recommended. It's slang for I want to spend your money. That's how they have in the default. So you've got to pay attention to those recommended. Are they really recommended? Bid strategy is defaulted to maximize clicks. Maximize spending your money is what that means. I never do maximize clicks in the beginning of a campaign. I want it to be manual because I want to control the data. I want to see how it comes in. And then once I have it targeted down to exactly who I want, then maybe I'll do maximize clicks. Default is delivery method. Optimize the delivery of ads, spending budget evenly over time. I do recommend this default. But there's another one that's called accelerated. Spend my money as fast as I can. Like maybe if you have a brand new product or you need a lot of traffic, you choose that option, but you're gonna run out of money before it's noon. So it's usually not a good idea. Maybe when you first start a campaign and you have a really anxious client doing accelerated, but you have no idea of what you set up actually works. So why go after the accelerated? Ad rotation, so it's kind of funny that they have all these still in there. They only have 2 now because everything that Google AdWords is moving towards is machine learning. They're basically trying to get rid of the PPC person. They want to go ahead right now and build my ads for me, and if I don't respond within 14 days, they're just gonna run them. They're just gonna automate. They're just gonna go through and look at your website, and they're gonna decide how my clients would like that and just build ads. So that's where they're going. So you need someone to look at that. There's only one setting for me, and that's to rotate indefinitely. See how this language, show lower performing ads more evenly with higher performing ads and don't optimize. Well, I'm looking at it, okay? I'm gonna optimize it. I'm looking at the data. I don't need you guys to look at it. Account structure. I can make wonders with account structure. A lot of times you get in there and there's one campaign or one ad group or even a couple, like you gotta segment the crap out of that. Some people, do like single keyword AdWord groups. If you've got enough traffic volume to support it, so you'll have enough data to make the next decision, those are really good ideas. But they take a lot of time. So if I look at an account and the account structure is not right, that's usually an easy win for me. Check the keywords. There are different types of keywords that you can put up there. This is horrible. Don't ever do it with no quotations or nothing around it. That is completely broad. That is just, if it's anywhere similar in the area, I want to be in that auction. So that's just bad if you see that. My favorite is this one up at the top. That's modified broad. That means those keywords need to be in the search. And then this is phrase match, and this is exact. So I have exactly. So sometimes if you got I have one that does part numbers, so I do a lot of exact. But even exact, they've loosened that up because they want to spend your money now. Are they using extensions? So there's all kinds of extensions, and you really can't control if your extensions show up or not. It's just one of those, if you like me, Google, will you show these? So if people aren't using all the different extensions, they really do help with click-through rate, which is going to help with your quality score, which means you're going to pay less per click. Go into the shared library and go look at campaign negative keywords. How much are they adding negative keywords? Constantly looking at data, looking at the search terms, seeing what's coming in and adding negatives. If they're not adding negatives, then it's probably an easy win. This is my favorite. Go to view change history. I can actually see by user logged in. When was the last time you made a change to that account? That's a real easy one. Are accounts linked? If they're not having their Google Analytics, their YouTube, even their Search Console. If they don't have those connected, Firebase, has anybody played with Firebase? Firebase is a completely separate analytics platform for apps. And I can segment based on what you've done with my app before into different audiences and remarket to them with all the different products. So connecting those, I can, if I connect the YouTube, anybody that's watched my videos that are on my website or even just went straight to YouTube, I can remarket to those people. I mean, if I see this one, you're not tracking conversions, I'm just like, okay, I know I can win. They have no idea what's working and what's not working. Real easy. So, how to deliver an ROI and results. So I'm a big proponent, like I said, of tracking both macro conversions and micro, because I want to be able to segment people into all these different audiences. So these are all micro conversions that I would like to look at. Was I able to affect that? But I also want to look at the macro. Am I actually driving the sales? Am I actually filling out the form? Am I getting the phone calls? Because I think, as you guys know, today's buyer just doesn't instantly click on your ad and go in and buy. But was I able to affect another channel? Did you know, though, that you can, I think you guys do now, by now at least, that you could remarket to someone that's just done one of those micro conversions? So they signed up for your webinar that you have coming up. How can you remarket to them now? Patience and persistence. Give me at least 3 months. It's way faster than SEO for sure. But I'm only setting up a campaign to what I think will work. But I need at least 30 days of data to start making adjustments. My number typically is 30. I need to see at least 30 impressions, 30 clicks before I decide that I need to optimize some part of that in the cycle. So if you're not spending a whole lot, and it's going to take me longer to get to that 30, then I might need even more time. Be completely honest and upfront about expectations and costs, so be honest about that. Give me 3 months at least. I am a month-to-month person, though. If I'm not performing, fire me. I'm willing to take that risk, but I ask for at least give me 3 months. I can't put lipstick on a pig. It's got to be a good website. Existing accounts take longer to produce results because you might be starting with a bad quality score. I won't tell you, actually I'm not going to say it on camera because Google won't like it, but maybe a different account is where I would go. If it's already really screwed up, you've got to, it's really hard. It's hard to come back from that. They've already kind of branded you. If you have a lower budget, it's not that I can't do it. It's just going to take me longer to get the data to make the decisions. So you got to be a little bit more patient if you have a low budget. You just can't optimize as quickly. You can't make decisions because you don't have enough statistical variance to make that decision. If you're not tracking phone calls, I think I'm repeating myself. Campaigns will almost always start off at the highest cost, and as time goes on, a year later, you will see like ridiculously different results, at least with someone that knows what they're doing. It's not a set it and forget it. Yes, you're going to do a lot of work up front, but then you're not going to have to do as much. So as an agency, you don't make as much money at first, but you'll make more money on the longer side of it. You got to find someone that loves data and can stare at it day after day, hours after hours, and see something different. You have to find that person. Google's always updating, so that's why it's not a set it and forget it. There's always something new coming out. If you have people on your staff right now, every Tuesday at noon Eastern, there is a PPC chat hashtag. Great stuff. Some of the best people are on that chat.
When's that?
PPC chat, Tuesdays, 12 Eastern. Google is always updating what's available. You're always playing the game of how is Google trying to make money? How can I look at this different? This is 97% of their revenue is Google AdWords. So you get on that phone with that Google rep, which I don't not recommend you do, because if you understand your enemy enough, then you're able to outsmart them. That's what I would do. It's often looked as a quick way to get leads, and it certainly is a lot quicker, but like I said, there is a process, though, to getting to results. The right questions need to be asked. The right type of information needs to be given to your PPC person for them to succeed to choose the right type of AdWords program. Not going to go through it, but I actually built an ROI calculator. It's in Google Sheets, so you guys can copy it, take my brand off of it, and make it your own. That's available. So it's very mathematical how to show somebody how much money they can make off of it. So how to maintain and grow your PPC retainers. You need a full-time person. Could be the same person that runs social ads. Got to hire that data-driven perfectionist with creativity. How hard is that going to be to find? But that's what you need. Encourage your staff to get certified. This is Google Academy for Ads. Like, there's little 5-minute chunks of time that you can go through. Sometimes some of them are 15 minutes, and you can start going through and learning all this. Think about rewarding your staff for getting through those and getting those certifications. I think I have like 17 right now because I'm just constantly learning something new, but rewarding them for getting through that and being able to do it better. Keep the PPC person involved in the whole strategy. They need to understand all of that so they know how to direct the traffic. A lot of times people want to kind of pull them out and isolate them and, hey, just drive me traffic. Not a good idea. Start off with search, move into remarketing, then RLSA, then display, then video, then pragmatic. At least that's the way I went at it. So try to get your people, maybe there's a bonus structure as they learn to look at those different ones, accomplish them, and get results. But do that with a client too. You want to kind of start with search and then move through it. Ad networks such as Bing Ads and Yahoo Gemini, yeah, it exists. Bing Ads is super easy. If you already have an existing AdWords program, there's like 2 buttons and you can just pull it over to Bing Ads, and a lot of times you'll pay a lot less. And as you optimize the AdWords, you can then re-pull it over. So it's really easy just to add the Bing Ads too. Scale with better quality scores. So if I have a better quality score, I'm going to pay less per click, and I'm going to have more money and budget freed up to possibly do these other types of marketing. Move to scripts. So we were talking about earlier, this AI. There's tons of scripts out there that if this, then that. If this happens, raise my budget by this. If this happens, lower my budget by this. All kinds of fun scripts. So my takeaways are: sell a solution to your problem. Don't sell another service line. There's a lot more to pay-per-click than search. Hopefully I've been able to prove that. Pricing models can vary a lot from client to client. You can win and optimize an account with a good audit. Be honest and upfront by asking for a budget when to expect results. Track those conversions and train your staff. And I think that's it. Questions?